everybody, and welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I hope you're all ringing it in the best as you can. Today I've decided to make something that's a little bit different from what I usually make, and it's a little bit more on the unhealthy side, and it's going to be lobster pot pie. I am not a fan of chicken pot pie under any circumstances, but I've never tried lobster pot pie, and I find all my recipes on Pinterest, so I thought, let's give it a try. So you're going to see me making lobster pot pie for the very first time this evening, homemade everything, and I can't wait to show you the process. Let's get started. We're going to go ahead and get started on our crust for the pot pie. I'm going to start by adding 2 cups of sifted flour into a mixing bowl. Followed by that is 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I went ahead and froze butter for about 10 to 15 minutes, then cubed it up and crumbled it handful by handful into the flour and salt mixture. In the mixing bowl, make sure that everything turns into a crumbly texture before you add the water. When you add the water, also make sure that it is ice cold water. Add about 1 cup of ice cold water to your mixture and make sure that mixes thoroughly into everything. Next, lay out some flour on your cutting board and slap your dough on the cutting board and start kneading the dough. After kneading, it should look something like this. Pop that baby into the fridge for 15 to 30 minutes, and then let's start working on the filling for our pot pie. Okay, so now to get started on the filling for our pot pie, we're gonna go ahead and start by dicing 2 stalks of celery. Go ahead and dice up 2 peeled carrots. Then dice up a big shallot and then a little shallot. Next, slice and then chop in half some leeks, but only use the whites. Next, go ahead and dice up 5 small red potatoes. And lastly, chop up some fresh tarragon. It's such an aromatic herb. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started on cooking our lobster. I decided to only get lobster tails. The recipe that I found says you can use claws and tails, but I thought that just 2 tails, 7 ounces each, was gonna be the perfect amount. They do not take long to cook at all. It's just gonna be with butter, salt, and pepper. And then if I don't show you that, you'll see me at the pot where I start working on all the vegetables that I cut up here. Okay, so right now all I'm gonna do is caramelize my shallots. Basically, a step-by-step breakdown of what we're gonna do is we're gonna caramelize our shallots, then we're gonna add in all of our vegetables, we're gonna add in some seafood stock and some sherry, and then we're gonna add in some heavy whipping cream to basically make it like a white wine bisque. After that, we're gonna add in our lobster tails cooked. Then our puff pastry will be able to come out of the fridge. We'll lay that over the iron skillet, put in all the filling that we're making right here, and then we'll pop it into the oven. So it seems like it's a lot of ingredients, but step by step, it's not too complicated. So just try to follow along the best you can. Like I said, the recipe will be linked down below. So let's start with caramelizing our shallots. So now that the shallots are in the pan, let's go ahead and crush some fresh garlic in there. Probably 2 large cloves. So something that I made my goal in this video was to use all fresh herbs and spices. Fresh tarragon, fresh garlic, fresh onions. I didn't want you to see me shaking spices out of a bottle like usual. I really wanted this to be a very aromatic, fresh tasting bisque, if you will. So drizzle all those vegetables, everything but the potatoes, in olive oil. Mix that around. Now we'll add in our potatoes, a little drizzle of olive oil. Go ahead and just stir everything up. So now I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of extra dry sherry, so extra dry white wine. A little bit more. Next, you're gonna add in about 1/2 cup of seafood stock. Mix that all up and let that simmer till everything becomes very tender and squishy. Not too squishy because we still have to throw this casserole throw in the oven. So now it's time to add the heavy whipping cream into our vegetable mixture we have here. Now I'm going to add in a couple pinches of sea salt. So now all I'm doing is just breaking up the lobster and putting it into the mixture. It's pretty thick, so all we have to do now is just kind of simmer this and let the lobster flavors like take over. And then we'll roll out our puff pastry and then it'll be ready to go in the oven. I wish you all could smell what this smells like, and I wish you could see like how big these lobster tails actually were. They were a little bit pricey, but I really wanted to make this recipe, so I was like, just go for it. But it's a lot more than I was actually expecting, and it just smells so good. And I can't wait to lay this into the crust. So I've laid some flour out onto my granite countertop, and I'm just kneading the dough a couple more times. I'm gonna go over it with my rolling pin, and then we're gonna lay it over the iron skillet, put the filling in, and then put another sheet on top, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna roll this out as big as it can possibly go. I can tell that it's already super flaky. Don't ask me how I'm gonna clean up this mess because I don't want to think about it right now. Look at this. It's beautiful. So now we're going to carefully transfer this pie crust over to the pot. Okay. Press it down into the pan. Ooh-wee. Okay, now I'm going to cut all of this off and use that as the top. Okay, so now all I'm doing is laying the pie crust into the pot. I'm gonna trim the excess, and then that's what we're gonna use for our top. Okay, so right now we have our bottom crust laying in our pot. So we're gonna do the filling, and then we're gonna lay the crust over the top and pop it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. This is pretty much the end of the recipe. After I pop it into the oven, it'll be just my taste test and my outro. Then I'll see you there. Okay, so as always, the taste test. I'm so excited. It's been smelling so good in my apartment for hours, and I can't wait to dig in. Oh, that fresh piece of lobster just like hanging down. Oh my gosh. Holy babe. Oh my goodness. The crust is so well done. Like, I cooked it perfectly. So it's crispy on the bottom and crispy on the top. The lobster and the sherry and the tarragon make like this perfect sauce, especially with the vegetables. Like, these vegetables complement it so well. And keep in mind, this is my like first time eating this and making this, so I would rate this a 10 out of 10. To be honest, I think I absolutely nailed it, and I couldn't imagine it turning out better. Anyways, if you like this video, it means the world to me if you would give me a thumbs up or a comment down below and just give me any interaction that you enjoyed this video at all. Make sure to hit that notifications bell button so you know when I upload, and I will see you in the next video. I can't wait to show you what I have in store next.